welcome back to another episode of the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast, the podcast where we talk about things we like to do when we're not on the clock working. As always, I'm Ryan, joined by my handsome buddy,
Derick.
And
no frill, no fluff.
I was going to say, I was expecting a little more out of you today, but, you know, keep it simple.
This is business mode, dude.
Right.
You saw the episode.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about an episode.
Yeah, we're talking about
a season, really.
A season that leads up to one of the greatest episodes of this particular show, and honestly, one of the best episodes of any anime that I've seen recently.
So good.
Yeah,
we are, of course, referring to the most recent arc of Demon Slayer, the Hashira training arc. And as soon as I saw that last episode, I'm pretty sure I hopped on my phone immediately to text you, like, I need more Demon Slayer ASAP. Yeah. Like, I just need it in me.
Yeah, it's it left off on a huge cliffhanger, a monumental cliffhanger, one that is going to take, you know, there's nothing to fill the void now. Like, I can rewatch it, but then I'm just going to feel that same emptiness afterwards.
Hey, spoiler alert, I did that an hour and some change ago. Did in fact feel empty afterwards.
Yeah. And I may or may not have spent...
I guess this also goes without saying. Spoiler alert for all of season 5.
Yeah, basically.
Got to get that out of the way.
Just Demon Slayer spoilers in general. But if you're an anime fan, I'm sure that you are either watching it or even up to date at this point. But man, it was a bagger of an episode, and honestly, the whole season overall, up before that episode, and actually before the episode prior, because the pre-ultimate episode was actually pretty good too. That had another really nice cliffhanger that you didn't have to wait. You don't have to wait to watch. Well, if you're watching live, you have to wait a week. But I wasn't watching live, so I actually was able to jump right into it. And overall, the season, like, if you take those 2 episodes out of it, it was fine. Filler arc. It's a filler arc. Yeah, it's basically just a filler arc that's leading to the big climactic battle that's going to be the last arc of the show. But you know, we're big fans of these characters. We like seeing these characters grow and develop and get better, hone their craft, and that's basically what the first 6 episodes did. There's 8 episodes this season, correct?
Yep.
Pretty sure there's 8. So the first 6 episodes, basically, as the arc suggests, the Demon Slayers were training with the Hashiras. Hashiras, however you want to say it, but the Hashiras. Notably, just mainly Tanjiro. But they also had a bunch of, like, the lower ranking Demon Slayer people. Well, I don't even know what you call them. I guess they're Demon Slayers technically, but they're just like, they're like cannon fodder, basically. But yeah, I mean, Tanjiro is basically just recovering spent the first episode recovering from the big battle that happened in the previous season. And after he heals up, he gets right back on the grind and starts training with each of the Hashira to learn different skills and whatnot to, you know, get him ready for this big climactic battle that's going to be taking place.
And
each
with a little asterisk there, you know.
Yeah, true. Not every single Hashira, but the main ones.
The ones you love.
The ones you know, the ones that you really, really like. Yeah, it was fun to see Tanjiro, you know, get better. Also, side note, he's basically shirtless like the entire season, and man, that man is ripped. He is ripped.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice that. He's so fucking muscular,
dude, and he's like supposed to be like what? Like it's canonically he's like 15 or something in the show. Like he is fucking jacked. Like this kid's got like an 8-pack. I mean, his muscle tone's incredible. Like this guy is just you can see why he's made it to this point. Like he is. Yeah, if I looked like that, I would be shirtless all the time too.
How did we get here? Where are we, dude?
I don't know. Listen, Tanjiro. I mean, listen. They knew what they were doing. Tanjiro. They're like, this kid is fucking ripped.
Like,
look where he started.
This guy's got it.
Look where he started. He was struggling to carry wood up the mountain. You know, going back to his home, and now he's pushing boulders.
Yeah.
This kid. Yeah, he's been on a journey.
Look at his muscles rippling, glistening.
But I guess I want to just
Tight.
discuss like maybe some of the highlights from the 6 episodes prior, and I got to be honest, I don't remember every single detail, since I did watch it over about a week or so and finished it about a week ago. But the one that stuck out the most, or the one, well, do you have something? Do you have a particular?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit removed from it because I did watch it live.
You did.
I watched it as it released. So going back to May 12th. So we're throwing it back 2 months. I got to try to remember back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember if I ate breakfast today. A corn muffin. I had a corn muffin.
That counts. I had a breakfast burrito from Wawa.
Damn.
It was good. So for me, the one that stood out the most, and maybe it's because it was one of the later ones, but when he was with the Stone Hashira, which was the last Hashira he trained with, he had to. So the first thing was him and Zenitsu had to stand under a waterfall.
Yeah, and
right?
Inosuke. I think Inosuke's there too.
I think he is. Yeah, I think you're right. And then afterwards, they had to push a boulder like 300 something feet.
Yeah, whatever that unit of measurement is. Yeah.
It was a very specific number to push it, but that 1 foot.
No, whatever the unit was, it's just one of them. So it was a very specific number.
But so that was cool to see, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, get better at that. And then, spoiler alert, Tanjiro is the only one that's able to push the boulder at the end of the day. And that was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
the scar or the mark ends up solidifying even more.
Yeah.
Dude's just got it. Like, I don't what else can you say about it,
I love Tanjiro. Tanjiro's one of my favorite MCs in all of anime. I just think he's so likable. Like, almost too likable. Because he's such a good guy, but he's so smart in battle. Like, he'll be outclassed by every enemy he's fought in this show is stronger than him for the most part. But he just always just basically just keeps fighting and will figure out his opponent's weaknesses. He's just very intelligent when he's fighting, and then that was kind of displayed here too with the boulder. He was figuring out how to push it. It's not just upper body, you got to do lower body, and you also have to like push, like not just like keep pushing, but like you got to push sporadically kind of, or like intermittently push it, and that's how he was able to like maintain the strength to push it basically. But it's just like a small detail, like it's just displaying Tanjiro's prowess and like his just battle intelligence, and like he's always able to find the way to get an advantage, even when he's outclassed.
I think for me the most memorable one was when he was training with Tokito, who he ran into during the last arc. He's a Mist Hashira, right? Yeah, and his Tanjiro walks up to his training, and it's just a bunch of like lower level cannon fodder demon slayers, like strapped to obstacles.
Yeah.
Basically, in the middle of the room.
That was so sick.
It was so good. Tokito's just so like harsh on all the lower ranking demon slayers, and basically beating them up until they get better. Like I'm just gonna keep hitting you until you can block me was basically it. And Tanjiro walks in, all these guys are tied up, and Tanjiro's the only one that he's nice to. He turns around, he's like, "Oh, damn, Tanjiro, dude, what's up?" And they're still great friends, but
he loves Tanjiro.
Having to adapt, or maybe I should back it up. So the training program was really for the demon slayers to be able to accurately use their sword in closer spaces. So his challenge to Tanjiro was to hit him without hitting any of his comrades that are tied to all these obstacles.
And he's like, they're like moving. They're not just like standing still. They are moving throughout this room. So swinging their swords, and these are real human beings like attached to these obstacles. So like you gotta be very precise.
Yeah, and Tanjiro was getting all worried because like obviously they're reacting to a sword going right by them, even if it's like just a wooden training sword.
Yeah,
but I think that was another part of the arc that showed his adaptability, because at some point he's like, all right, I gotta separate the fact that these are like living, breathing humans that I'm almost hitting, and I'll just pretend I'm in a forest and I can't hit any of these trees.
That was such a cool visualization too. I love that.
Yeah, and like suddenly his confidence like shot up, and he was able to do it in the end. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, of course he was.
The only way he got out of the training.
Yeah, he got one hit on him. I think he hit his cape or something. He hit his his jacket or whatever you call what they're wearing. But he slashed his clothes, and that was enough for him to move on. And I think they actually switched from the wooden sword to a real sword. I think Tokito was like, okay, let's raise the stakes a little bit, and I think they were actually using real swords by the end of it.
Yeah, by the end,
if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. But yeah, going back to the Stone Hashira, the training was cool, but what really stood out to me was his backstory, and that was the Stone Hashira himself, which is Guillaume. His backstory was tragic, man. Like,
oh my gosh,
this guy!
I didn't realize he was blind until the very end.
I mean, he doesn't have pupils, so it's like, okay, I guess, but also like,
it's anime.
You might just think, maybe it just looks like
pupils.
That. Yeah, some people have weird eyes in anime, and they can see perfectly fine. But yeah, he was he was like 18 or whatever, and he was guarding like a group of orphans or something, or like a group of children. And he was talking to Tanjiro about it, and because he has like a kind of resentment towards children. He says like they're very selfish, and the story basically was that he was guarding these kids. One of the kids got out, stayed out past curfew, didn't come home when he was supposed to, led a demon, or a demon found him, and then he was like, he told the demon, hey, I know where you can devour several children, not just me. If I show you where it's at, you can spare me. So that was the deal. This little kid brought this demon back to where they were all staying, and this motherfucker devoured basically all the children, besides a couple that were hiding behind the Stone Hashira. Two of them, I think there were three of them. Two of them ran out because they were terrified, and they got killed. There's one left. There's one girl left, and I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay, that's what happens. Stone Hashira defends her, fights the demon, like brutally kills him. And that was like the first time he realized how strong he was. And he was so brutal in killing this demon that the little girl was horrified of the Stone Hashira, of Guillaume, and basically told people that he's the one that killed all the children. Because the demon, obviously, in Demon Slayer, when the demons die, they evaporate. So there's no sign of them whatsoever. So it just looks like he's here with all these dead children. It's fucked up. Yeah. Clearly he didn't do it. And he had to wear that shame.
Worth noting, not the Stone Hashira at the time.
Not the Stone Hashira. No, this is all
backstory.
Yeah, he's just Guillaume, 18 years old. And then he stumbles upon the Demon Slayer Master.
Oh, hold on. And
go ahead.
The other thing. Oh, I've forgotten it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. If you remembered, say it. If I'm missing it.
Right. So his mistrust of kids, right?
Yeah.
So the other pivotal moment there was he was protecting all the kids, right? Demon comes in, he's protecting all the kids. He tells them to stay behind him.
Yeah.
And the kids do not trust him.
Yeah.
And they try to just leave the building, run away. And all of the kids that ran away were the ones that died.
Yeah.
So he's like, why? Just why?
And then even the one girl that listens to him, who was like, out of all the children, she was the one that seemed to trust him the most. She still ended up betraying him in the end. Because she was just so horrified by what she saw.
But that was more tragic, right? Because
Kind of, yeah.
she was the one that did listen, right? And then
Yeah.
because she's a kid, her brain is like, all right, how do I reason this all out? Like that
True.
Hey Arnold episode. And it just turned out poorly for Himejima.
Yeah, so anyway, that's why he kind of resents children or has like a mistrust in children, but he tells Tanjiro, like, you are an exception, like you are an excellent child, and it was just like a really heartfelt moment. But then Guillaume runs into the Demon Slayer master, I'm going to say his name, Kaguya Yubiyashiki, which is I was referred to in the anime. He's the only one that believed Guillaume that he did not murder the kids. So from that moment on, like the two of them had a really close bond. But that was just such a tragic backstory. Like it felt, and he is the strongest Hashira just by pure strength. So it's just, I don't know, it was a really tragic but fitting backstory for this character. And it's also how he got the scar too. He got the scar from the demon.
Yeah,
demon, like,
I did
slashed his
always
head.
wonder about that.
Yeah,
I guess when anybody's got a scar, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they're gonna tell us how they got.
There's a story
scars.
behind that scar.
And they
a lot
did.
Of these characters have scars, actually.
Who'd have thunk it?
I mean, there were some other moments. Tenjin comes back. I think he's the first Hashira that Tanjiro trains with. And I just love Tenjin, man. Like, it was so nice seeing him again. He's such a badass.
You and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
It was a little bit sad to see him like retired and beat up a little bit, missing body parts.
Yeah.
But, like, and it's also sad that he was there, like, training other demon slayers.
And he wants to fight.
Even though he retired of his own volition, like you said, he still wants to fight. Like, he wants to be out there, or he wants to contribute at least. And like, this is his way of doing it.
Let's be honest. He could probably still fuck up some demons.
Oh yeah, he could. Yeah.
But he wants to stay alive for his 3 wives. So
don't blame him. Yep.
Nope, don't blame him either.
Correct move.
But I love him. He's a badass and just a fun character, and yeah. So it was nice seeing him again in the beginning. And then Mitsuri, her training was like the humorous part of the whole arc was her flexibility training.
that was a good arc. That was a good training session.
Listen, I would take that training.
Dude, the animation was so good.
It was great.
It's like really all the other demon slayers struggling to like do a split or something.
Yeah.
And just Tanjiro in the back, like happily just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, aw. So cute. And then he moves on to the snake Hashira or the serpent Hashira, who, I mean, we know he's got something for Mitsuri, right? And he just mistrusts Tanjiro from beginning to end. There's no reconciliation of like, no, that's not how it is. It's just, I don't like you. Go somewhere else.
Basically. Yeah, he does not trust him. And the same thing with the Wind Hashira either, or the same thing with the Wind Hashira. He doesn't like Tanjiro either.
Yeah, he just seems kind of like a loose cannon.
Yeah.
We didn't get a ton of backstory on him, right?
No, just
we just kind of know that he's Genya's brother, maybe, probably.
Yeah. They look so much alike. Yeah. But we did learn that he loves red bean ice cream, right? Or red bean mochi? Red bean mochi?
Yeah.
Mochi, sorry. Red bean mochi. And like the fact that Tanjiro was able to figure that out by smelling it on his breath, basically. Because Tanjiro, if you haven't seen Demon Slayer, Tanjiro has a very keen sense of smell. It plays a big part in his fights.
Yeah, and normally not anywhere else other than fights.
Basically, yeah. But in this situation, he was able to smell the red bean mochi on his breath, on the Wind Hashira's breath. He's like, "Oh, you like red bean mochi?" And you could just see on his face he was so like angry, but also like kind of humiliated.
Yeah, he's like, what?
Because he's just like, he's just stoic, like not stoic, but he's just like this angry guy, and like you wouldn't think like, oh, he likes to eat ice cream, this sweet ice cream, when he on his downtime. Like it just doesn't vibe with his character. But that's why he's a person. At the end of the day, he's just a person.
Who else? Oh, Tomioka, Giyu Tomioka. That's the current. I'm gonna use air quotes liberally. Current water Hashira.
Yeah.
He did not want to take part in this whole Hashira training plan. Who I think Ubuyashiki was the one who suggested it, right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's who did. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tomioka is just not about it. He's like, I'm not like you guys.
Yeah, no. But they didn't know what that meant. They thought maybe it was like he was being pretentious or something. Like he was like trying to be like, I'm better than you guys.
I don't need to do that.
Yeah. That's not what he meant.
What did he mean?
He just meant, well, so, and it's all coming back to me, but he had a
Celine Dion.
Well, yeah, little Celine, Celine and me. Yeah, he had him and forgetting the guy's name, but it starts with an S. The peach-haired Hashira, who was not a Hashira at the time, I don't believe, or was he ever a Hashira?
I don't know who you're talking about.
In his backstory, the peach-haired swordsman.
Oh yeah, the one that was training under Rokodaki, right?
Soba or something like Soba, not Soba, but
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway, he's got a friend who died protecting him, basically, and he basically took over, I believe, in his stead. But he always believed he was the one that should have died.
Yep.
So he feels like he's got a case of
survivor's guilt.
Yeah, survivor's guilt and imposter syndrome. So yeah, it's definitely a nice backstory for him too.
Yeah, that was good. And also Sabito was his name.
Sabito, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, Tomioka wears a robe that's half his, half Sabito's, right?
Yep, half Sabito's, half his sister's.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. But eventually, he does concede to Tanjiro after Tanjiro beats him in a soba eating contest.
Man, right? that was funny too. I did like that.
Dude, that scene made me feel full.
Yeah, it did. No, they were going ham on that soba. It also made me want soba really badly. But yeah, there was like little quirks like that in this arc where Tanjiro just has these. I don't know. I guess he has these Hashiras kind of like step out of their comfort zone a little bit, and like I don't know. It just showed that like while they seem like they're like these badass swordsmen, which they are, they're also just people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was like a little behind the curtain thing. So
yeah, that was awesome. Like since we first met the Hashira, it was like these are the gods, right? They're just going to destroy anything. Period. Immediately.
These are the best of the best.
You learn more about them, and you realize they're all human.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if I'm looking at them, yep, they're all human.
They're all human. Yep. Because before we only really knew a lot about Rengoku in the Mugen Train arc, and obviously everyone loves Rengoku. I mean, he's a fan favorite, but he wasn't in the show that long. He was really in the movie, and then like maybe like a few episodes in the arc they adapted for the anime. But he left such an impression. Yeah, he left such an impression, and still to this day, like he might be my favorite character in the whole show. I love him so much.
I don't think anyone would blame you for that.
No,
having that opinion.
But now we have all these other Hashira that we've learned about this arc, and we're like, oh, these guys are awesome too.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Do you have a favorite out of the ones that are alive? Damn, that made me sad.
Well, maybe Tokito, only because I think it's really funny that he's just like stone-faced for everybody else and like cold and calculating.
Yeah.
Then Tanjiro shows up and he's all bubbly and happy that his friend is there. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. He's what, like a little bit younger than
a little.
Tanjiro?
I think so. They feel like the same age, basically.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 years or something like that. But
he's got a soft spot for Tanjiro.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm stuck between, well, Mitsuri's fun. Like everyone loves Mitsuri. She's bubbly and fun, and like always good vibes with her. But I gotta say, the Guillaume backstory hit me so hard. Like I think he's my favorite right now. Yeah, he's and he has such an awesome moment in the last episode too. So let's actually jump to that, because man, this finale was something special. It was truly like a spectacle. And Demon Slayer's peaks might be the best peaks of any anime that I've watched. You've watched more than I have, but it rivals like Attack on Titan for me, which is like the gold standard of anime for me and the ones I've watched. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. But like these peaks, like you got like these when it needs to deliver, UFO Table delivers. And I hope that's how you pronounce the studio.
No
name.
idea.
Okay, well,
yeah, that's exactly what I thought at the end of it. Because like I put it on and I'm like, oh, this episode's 30 something minutes, like almost pushing 40. Like okay, last episode, I see, giving us a little bit more. God damn, did they deliver?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
First off,
yeah,
an entire like 16-minute segment on just Ubuyashiki and Kibutsuji, right? Yeah. That was it. They were just talking for 16 minutes.
And also 6 of those minutes was just Muzan walking up to it menacingly.
While all the credit pre-rolls are playing.
Yeah, and he's got like the smoke. He's got the smoke screen, or he's got the fog machine or whatever. I'm not really sure what that was. Do you know what that was? Or was it just like his aura? Or
has to have been, right?
I don't know if there was like an anti-demon barrier up or something that he was just walking through. I don't know, but it looked badass.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Me?
I thought you were continuing. Sorry.
Sure. So Ubuyashiki's in bad shape at this point. I don't want to end up doing a whole ass recap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ubuyashiki on his last legs, like has been the entire arc, and towards as each episode keeps on going, you figure out like, oh no, it's not that he's just like not feeling well, but like the thing that he's big sick for, is killing him, and he is not long for this world.
Yeah, he's on death's door. Any day now could be his last.
Yeah. And he was literally in his deathbed, his death futon. And his wife was there taking care of him. His daughters were there playing in the courtyard.
Playing ball. Which, by the way, when that first happened, I wasn't sure what was going on. I wasn't sure if they were real. I wasn't sure if Muzan was seeing something.
It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
It was very creepy. It was very horror film vibes there. There's these little kids just like, they're like ghostly pale too. So they look like they could be ghosts, just playing with the ball and singing this like children's nursery rhyme or something. It was very eerie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's got his family there and whatnot. And then they just talk. There's just a discussion, like you said. It's like the whole first half of this episode is just a conversation between Muzan and Kaguya. I'm just gonna say Kaguya. And man, Kaguya, Muzan was very nice to just let Kaguya talk for so long.
I feel like he knows it's like end game now. And I think he read the situation. He's like, yeah, fucking nothing's happening to me here. It's fine.
Yeah. And and Muzan also says that he looked upon Kaguya and he had like no hatred. He wasn't brimming with hatred. I think he didn't say it, but he probably felt pity for him because of the state he was in. He's literally like about to die.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it. He just wanted to let him say his piece out of kind of like respect, but I don't really know if it was respect. It was more of just pity, I think. But man,
we learn a little bit about what is actually killing Ubuyashiki, right?
Yes.
So he drops a line, which I think, I don't remember if they hint at it or if you just kind of put it together, like for the rest of the show up until now, that like, oh, they're probably related somehow, like familially. And Ubuyashiki drops the line. He says, "You may not know this, but you and I hail from the same bloodline."
Yeah.
But Kibutsuji's fucking like over 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just been alive forever. Like the bloodline is not as thick or concentrated as it was back then. But it turns out that the Ubuyashiki family was cursed because their family produced
a monster.
Yeah. Muzan.
Yeah.
So what did he say? He's like, we all had to marry like the daughters of priests in order to like have viable children, and even then they only make it until 30.
He said, so all their
any of them ever live.
Yeah, no one's lived past 30, which we're both over 30, so like we would have if we were in his bloodline, we would have been long gone.
Yep. Dunzo.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. That's pretty crazy to think about. And also, like, just like a quick side note, like all these anime, like you don't realize how young these characters are in the shows until they say shit like that. You're like, what the fuck? Like you don't ever know until they say it.
Yeah.
Sidebar done. But yeah, the children are born weak, right? They're born weak, and a lot of them die like either like really young, or like probably come out dead.
Oof.
Yeah.
I don't like the mouthfeel on that sentence.
I don't like that either. I didn't like it either. So yeah, they're cursed. They're cursed, and that is what is killing Kaguya. And I think he's in the show like 24 or 25 years old. Maybe 27. Between 24 and 27, I want to say.
See, I didn't confirm this, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, he must be 30 then.
I'm pretty sure I saw
he's
like
23 according to this
is
wiki.
He? Jesus.
Yeah, that is young. Gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, conversation pretty much just kind of keeps going after that. It's not really anything plot heavy, but more of just like here's where I'm coming from. Here's who you are to me. And vice versa, right?
Yeah, it's like a conversation about immortality, because that's what Kaguya asks Muzan, like, what do you dream of? Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I bet it's immortality. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. And he says, like, but I know eternity, and it's the human will, or something like that, right?
Which was so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And everything he was saying, like, made complete sense. Like, the human will prevails at all times. People die, people come and go, but the human will exist forever. And then he looks at Muzan, and he's like, if you die, then all the demons on Earth would also die. And like the flash to Muzan's face and the wind blowing in his hair, so cool. I was like, oh shit, he struck a chord there. Muzan didn't like that. It's true. It's also, I don't know if we knew that prior. Like, he's the snake's head. If you cut off the head of the snake, they all die. I mean, I feel like I don't know. That felt like a mic drop moment. So I don't know if we've been told that information before or not.
No, I think we just haven't heard it since like season 2.
Okay.
Since he met the Hashira, basically.
Yeah.
I think.
But Muzan's reaction just tells you everything. Like, it's true. It's fact. I die, everyone else, all the other demons die. Which is convenient for the story, but also, yeah, it makes things a lot easier because there are a lot of demons.
Yeah. And what happens next? Well, this is big spoiler territory. The entire Ubuyashiki estate blows the fuck up. Explosion blows the fuck up.
That's putting it lightly.
And it is everything. It's the house. It's the courtyard. Like, the entire property scorched dead. So that means Kaguya himself, Amane his wife, both his daughters, deceased. They died in the explosion.
They eat it.
I don't remember if you sent me something about this or it just showed up on its own on my timeline, but apparently the wife and the daughters were aware of the plan. They wanted to be with their dad, with their family.
Yeah.
So no reservations. Apparently they all got ice in their veins to be playing ball in the courtyard right before
singing
a planned explosion.
Creepy tune. Oh yeah, that was another point we didn't mention earlier, but when Kaguya is talking to Muzan about the family curse and everything, they married priests' daughters and whatnot to help extend the lifespan of their children. They also had to devote their lives to killing Muzan, basically. Like, we have to kill the demon that our bloodline produced. We have to devote our lives to that. So that is another way they were able to kind of extend their lifespan, not by much, but it helped. So, when his wife married him, she was aware of the goal, the ultimate goal. And so she knew what she was getting herself into. But yeah, the bravery on those people, and like just stone faced the whole time too, like no emotion, just like I think she even had a smile.
The way they always are, you mean?
Yeah.
Fucking ice in the veins, man.
Yeah,
that family's just cold.
But man, this is when I was going to talk about the visuals really quick.
Same here. You
All
got
right.
it.
Yeah. Man, I don't think there is a better animation studio out there than Ufotable when it comes to blending like 3D animation with 2D animation. The flames look photorealistic. Like,
Jesus,
it's crazy. I don't know how they're able to do it, but
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
But it was slow. Like the explosion starts and like it comes from like under the ground. Like flames start coming up from under the floorboards, and it's slow motion. It's stunning looking. You're not really sure what's going on. Then they have the cool shot with like the snowflakes or whatever that melt.
Yeah.
In the fire. Like, oh, they're just flexing now.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to the explosion, and the sound design was incredible. It was just huge bombastic explosion, and just kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Luckily, I wasn't watching with headphones, but I feel like if I was, I would have been like, whoa. Little jump scare,
which was the plan, right?
Yeah,
catching somebody off guard, and that somebody being Muzan, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, for me the visual was after the explosion, he stands up. Muzan stands up. He's not completely whole.
Yeah.
But it was the burning, regenerating flesh. And like he just like kept growing his eyeball and like started growing an arm and skin on it. And like meanwhile he's just in this like exploded wreckage on fire. And like even Ubuyashiki put like caltrops just all up in the house so that the explosion would just shred him.
And you can
like,
actually
slow down his regeneration. Yeah, he was popping him out of his body, dude.
I know.
That's nuts.
If you go back and watch, like when the explosion is starting to happen in the slow motion, you can see those coming out of the floorboards too.
Yeah.
But then but like for me, like I wasn't sure what happened. Like I thought Muzan did that. I don't know Muzan's powers, so like I'm like, okay, he can just cause a giant explosion at will. Because like when it first starts happening, like he doesn't really have an expression, like it's happening in slow motion, so like he just doesn't look surprised or anything. And then afterwards, after you see his flaming body fly out of the explosion, you're like, okay, I don't think he meant to do that to himself. So
he
badass.
Was taken down a few pegs with that one.
Yeah,
that was just Ubuyashiki's like final fuck you to him, I guess.
Man,
I mean,
it was so
plan,
cool.
Yeah, the plan from here was slow down his regeneration as much as possible, and then the Hashira are going to come in and then just hold him there until sunrise, because they think that beheading Muzan not going to do it. It's not going to cut it, literally.
It's a hypothesis that Kaguya has. They test it. I mean, let's give Guillaume his flowers. He comes, I mean, well, first of all, Tameya, who was recruited earlier in the season to help study Nezuko, she comes and she literally fists Muzan in the stomach.
Yeah.
Punches
Do you
him in the
remember what
stomach.
she's holding?
Yeah.
She's holding the medicine to transform a demon back into a human. I mean, ostensibly because of the Nezuko research, right?
Yeah, which was crazy to hear her say that. I don't know if that's going to play a part later. I'm assuming it will, but it has to. Right? Yeah, unless she's bluffing. But I don't think that's a weirdly specific bluff to have in that moment and not have it ever be mentioned again.
Yeah.
So
because he's trying to regenerate, and then he gets spiked basically.
Yeah, the blood demon
there's spikes coming up out of the ground. They pierce all of his limbs, his torso, his head even. And he's like just trying to register what this is. He's like, blood demon art? The fuck?
Yeah.
And who's there just burying her fist in his torso? Tamayo. And she's just like, I fucking got this, dude.
So cool. And he's like, oh, didn't you kill your family? Like, who killed your family? It wasn't me. He's like, you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I kill your family? No, I'm pretty sure you killed your family.
Yeah.
And a lot more people.
Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, I'm going to die here with you to, rectify that, to basically redeem myself for that happening. And
one of the only things he can move is his arm, and he just keeps like digging his thumb into her forehead and like slices across too.
Those long ass nails.
Yeah. But damn, she's back, baby.
She's back.
Briefly.
Back. Yeah, and she's playing a big role, which is awesome. But then she's like, okay, your move, Himajima, who is the Stone Hashira, and it flashes over to Guillaume just running towards
the biggest
Muzan.
Fucking flamboyant
dude,
show-offy run up to
yeah, he's got the tears streaming down his face still, and he's got his weapons, and we haven't seen him like in action yet, really, like to this extent. Like he's got this, was it gavel? Is that what they call it? A gavel? The thing that's like the spiky ball. Anyway, he's got like, I think it's a gavel. A ball, like a
flail.
Flail, whatever. Spike ball on a chain that he's twirling around, and he freaking decapitates. Like, not, I don't think even decapitates the right word. He blows his head off, basically.
Yeah, he basically comes down with just like his entire shit and like splatters Muzan's head from the top.
It was so cool,
right?
It was so sick, yeah. And in that moment, you're like, okay, well, there's no way that this is over. And then it flashes back to a conversation that Kaguya and Guillaume had about, I think, I don't think that beheading Muzan's enough to kill him. It's just a theory, but I think the only thing that can kill Muzan is sunlight.
Yeah, so he's trying. Himajima's just trying to hold him there as long as possible.
Yeah,
that's just the plan.
Also, the regeneration of Muzan's head was freaking crazy. Like he just like grows a brain stem, and then a brain attached to that, and then his skull, and it was just like crazy to look at. I was like, oh my god,
this is happening so quickly. What he's doing.
He regenerates so quickly. It's absolutely insane.
And then soon after, the rest of the Hashira are on the scene. Yes.
Yep.
And I thought it was kind of cool that, Tanjiro trained under the same guy as Tomioka did, right? Urokodaki, the guy with the mask.
Yeah.
And like his thing is water breathing, right? That's Tanjiro's thing.
That's his main one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was trained in, at least, right? But all the Hashira are coming in, they're doing all of their breathing, the wind breathing, the love breathing, mist breathing, whatever. And of course, Tomioka does his water breathing, but I thought it was so cool that Tanjiro like forgoes all of that and he goes with the Hinokami Kagura, the sun breathing shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know that's going to play a role eventually. I mean, Muzan is afraid of there's a level of fear that Muzan feels when he sees Tanjiro, especially the earrings, because there was a Hashira back in the day that had the same earrings that also perfected the sun breathing technique, and we just said that Muzan's weakness is sunlight.
No connection.
Got a feeling that might come up again later in the show.
Yeah, we're still not 100% sure on everything, right?
Oh, we have no
Because
idea. I mean,
we know that the mark on Tanjiro's forehead moves and grows, solidifies, doesn't, like depending on his mental state, basically, or like how he's fighting.
exactly.
And we had what arc was that? It was the last arc, right? Where we learned about the swordsman from back in the day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was the most recent season.
Yeah,
or the season before this one.
But like, we don't know anything, right?
We shouldn't know everything now, unless and we haven't read the manga either, so we're not really we're anime only, so we really are. There's hints, but there's nothing that's been solidified yet. But yeah, I also love before they start charging at Muzan that none of them have seen Muzan before. Tanjiro is the only one that's seen Muzan, so as soon you got the spotlight on you. There we go.
Huh?
Saying you had the spotlight on you. Anyway, before they all charge him, they pan to all the Hashira, like, that's him? Is that him? Oh my god, that's him. And then Tanjiro's like, Muzan! And like he just looks so fucking pissed. Like,
dude, he's determined.
Yeah, he's got to do it. And they start charging at Muzan. And you think, oh, they're all doing their different breathing techniques. And they're like, okay, there's no way he's escaping this. And then it pans to him. He's got a little grin on his face.
And then what happens?
And they all
Chad
fall.
Kroger?
Yeah. A hero to save us. He opens up the Infinity Castle. And they all fall into it.
Yeah, and not just the Hashira,
no.
A number of other major characters, and seemingly maybe some minor characters, though.
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
care enough to see.
And then what I figured out later was that the demon that was controlling the eyeballs, that was spying on all the Hashira and the demon slayers.
That's what, 4?
That's, yes, number 4. That's how they knew where everybody was. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because he was just sending his eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. So I don't really know how that Infinity Castle works, but obviously Muzan can control it. And since they were all there with him, he knew where they're at. So he's able to just open the door where they're at. But then I guess he also knew where the other demon slayers were based off of the scouting that the number 4 demon did with the eyeballs. Because I wasn't quite sure, like, how did he know, like, where Inosuke was, or where the other demon slayers were? But anyway,
yeah, because Inosuke nowhere near the estate.
No,
I mean they're there for the Hashira training, so he's around somewhere, but he's just sitting by a tree somewhere.
Yeah, my man's trying to enjoy some tempura. Yeah. He's just trying to enjoy some tempura, and then he falls down there. But I loved him because he grabs his mask and he puts it on. He's like smiling. He's like he's so excited and ready for whatever's next. He has he's just he's just free falling. He doesn't know if
everybody's got like a different reaction to this.
Yeah,
right. All the Hashira are really confused because in the Infinity Castle, like, nobody knows which fucking way is up, and the answer is there is no up, I guess.
Yeah,
like everything is just where it is.
Exactly, it just exists in the space.
Like, I remember, what's her name? Shinobu. She was. I remember her looking around while she was falling, like trying to put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And even her ward, whatever you call them, Suguko's. What's her name? Sayuri?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But she actually talks. She talks to Inosuke, or no, Genya. Briefly, but that's some character development there.
Yeah.
She never used to say shit.
Although I did notice when they're falling into the Infinity Castle, because the Serpent and Wind Hashira have seen it already.
Yeah.
In the first episode of the season, they chase down some demons that are kidnapping this woman. and they see the Infinity Castle. They don't fall into it, but they see it. So I don't recall if their reactions in that moment were any different than the rest of them. But yeah. And apparently I think that was an anime only scene. I don't think that existed in the manga. So I don't know if that's going to play a part later.
The initial looking at the Infinity Castle?
Yeah, like the Wind and Serpent Hashiras seeing the Infinity Castle before this moment. So I don't know if that's going to play a role later down the line or not. But yeah, they're all falling into the Infinity Castle. And oh, wait, we got to talk about Zenitsu, our boy.
Oh, easily.
Man, the joke character, the comedic relief character in the show who has so much potential and is so powerful. Yeah. But it's only when he was sleeping before. He would have to sleep. Yeah. And then he could activate his power.
I think especially in the entertainment district arc, right? When they're up on the roofs and he closes his eyes and he gets his like stance ready. I'm like, oh, it's about to go the fuck down.
Yeah. When Zenitsu turns it on, like it's so hype when he's focused.
Yeah, but in this one, right? He's falling through the Infinity Castle, and you see his sword kind of spinning, and he catches up with it, and then just puts it at his hip, and is falling like so stoically, like not moving at all, just like whizzing by all these rooms in the Infinity Castle, like just oozing with like confidence. Basically, is what it looked like.
Oh yeah, he's laser focused. He's just like stone face, like. He opens his eyes, but like not fully open. Like he's just like kind of like a glazed over look. Like he's ready. He's ready for whatever's next.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go with it. So he's falling so stoically, like such a badass, and it pans in or it zooms in on his face, and his eyes are closed. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But he opens those motherfuckers. Like this dude is ready.
So he figured something out, I guess, because. The last interaction between him and Tanjiro was kind of weird. Like he was sitting on top of the boulder, like he was working on something, and he had like blood on his face too. I don't know. He was training himself for something, getting into a mindset. So I think he may have figured out how to activate his lightning breathing without being asleep. I guess. I'm hyped for that though, because I need more. I need more badass Zenitsu because when he's not. He's kind of annoying, but I can forgive him because
of the simps, basically. Right?
Exactly. But his hype moments are so hype.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm hoping he gets a lot of moments in this last arc.
Yeah. So that's where most of the main plot ends, right? So all the Hashira land, and the camera's down with them, looking up at Muzan.
Yeah.
Tamayo is still up there. Yep. Twitching a little bit,
her
but
fist
the blood
is still
demon
inside of
is
him.
Still active. All the spikes are there, and like you said, her fist is still inside of him. So it's not over for your girl yet. Probably. there's no way, right?
I feel like she's on a It's just a matter of time.
That's the end of the episode proper, and at the end of the episode, a little Taisho Era Secret. Was something that I really wanted you to see. Like I made sure that you watch this one specifically.
Yeah, it was. Usually those little things at the end of the episode are like just kind of not like a little bit of throwaway. Like you get a little bit of backstory on some of these characters, but it's usually more of just like comedic relief. But this one doesn't
really take place in a universe either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a sidebar. Basically, it's a sidebar to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And normally it's like a fourth wall break, right? Like Tanjiro's talking directly at the audience, like, hey, let me tell you a little secret about Mitsuri or something like that. And in this one, again, it is Mitsuri. And he's like, hey, this was her. She actually trained with Rengoku. Yeah. Like she was his Suguko, and everyone dropped out except for her. Like she just loved his passion. And she's like, yeah, he was like a big brother to me, and we ate so much after, which is like her thing, right? Just fucking eating a ton,
and him too.
Yeah. So I love that was their relationship, right?
It was so
master
cute.
And student.
I was like, oh, Rengoku
housing food.
It's like a Rengoku reference. Oh, my heart.
And then what happened?
Man, Then you hear the damn Rengoku voice actor, which was not what I was expecting. I was like, whoa, whoa, what's happening? And then like they're like looking at, this is actually like a really eerie shot. They're just looking down like a dark hallway, and his voice is coming from the end of the hallway.
Yeah, it's literally breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah,
harder than they already are in the Taisho Era Secrets.
Yeah,
because you're basically looking at stage left,
basically,
right? And an empty stage left wing, and they're like, "Did you just like Rengoku was just here, right? Or did I see that?"
Yeah,
and then like that's just it.
And the animation style changed a little bit too. It was more like the traditional anime style, or animation style. So I don't know. It was a nice moment, but it was also a little strange. Wasn't really sure. I was like, is this canon or something? What's going on here? Like, can Rengoku speak to them from the grave or from the spirit world or whatever is the afterlife in the show? I was like, oh, Rengoku's back, baby. He's been reborn. He got wished back with the Dragon Balls.
That's the end of season 5. Can you believe it? And
no,
I'm not sure what's coming up. You definitely are more plugged into this than me. All I know is there are 3 movies coming out.
That's all I know.
Wrap up the rest of the next arc or everything.
This is the last arc, the Infinity Castle arc, which they're doing a trilogy of films. Don't know any more details besides that. Don't know how long they'll be. Don't know when they're going to come out. But I gotta say, this is a brilliant move by Ufotable to do this. These movies are going to make so much damn money. It's going to be crazy. It's going to really change the way anime is presented on if it's, will studios release bigger episodes? Will they start to change their strategy? Be like, okay, let's just put this in a movie and release it to theaters. Like, I'm really curious how these movies, how their box office numbers are going to affect the industry moving forward. Because I really do think that this is going to cause like a trickle down effect, and you're going to see these studios, like for their big season finales or series finales, they're going to release them in the cinema, because it's going to be like Demon Slayer is a huge anime, like probably the most popular anime right now. And yeah, it's going to make a ton of money. Yeah. I kind of wish Attack on Titan had done that with if they had just combined those 2 episodes they did and just had it released into a theater. I would have been in heaven. That would have been so fucking cool. But yeah, anyway, I think that this decision to release them in a trilogy is just so smart. It's brilliant.
So good.
Yeah. But I'm super excited. Like, and can you just imagine like the animation quality that's gonna happen? Like the quality of these movies. I mean, the anime is already like movie quality. Like the budget seems like it's outrageously high, especially this last episode. But even so, like all the big episodes in Demon Slayer always look amazing. So I can't even imagine what these ones are going to look like. It's going to be a visual feast. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I need a release date right fucking now.
And that about wraps up season 5 of Demon Slayer. Last episode, absolutely a banger. And if hopefully we're right, and that these last 3 movies are also going to be bangers. Like, I feel like there's no world in which they're not. But
yeah, they're gonna hit.
I had to say it at least a little bit. But yeah, as they followed Muzan into the Infinity Castle, you can follow us into our Infinity Castle. We are at 5 o'clock sweats on Instagram, at 5 o'clock sweats on X. We're available in video form on YouTube and audio form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Got anything else?
It's going to be a long wait between now and when these movies come out.
Fuck, dude, that makes me so mad.
What did we say?
I need it in me now.
We'll be 40 by the time the third one comes out. Not really, but I honestly don't think it's going to be that long. I think maybe by 2026 we get the first one. I think that's my bet. That's my bet. Sticking to it.
As always,
stay sweaty.
Pans across into the Infinity Castle.
Yeah.
And it's fucking like a drone, and you're just going all through all the different like rooms and shit. You don't know which way is up, and it's like, I am so high.
Yeah.
Back in the river. There's people fucking falling everywhere.
Yeah. And then when he's
oh, but heaven.
When he says he grabbed
heaven can't hear me, and then fucking it's his sword twirling.
Oh,
he catches
man.
it, and he fucking puts it in. And then he's just fucking falling like a boss.
They say
and then he opens his eyes when it says that a hero can save us. And he just keeps going. Oh, fuck,
man.
Dude.
I feel like you have to make this and put it on TikTok or something. It's gonna slap.